others, how do you design your event programming and how do you curate um, organizations, people, individuals to be associated with the event hosting? I hosted one event at your place. How do you guys figure that out?
Well, we very much come from a burner culture.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of us in the project are burners. All the founders and crew and team and a lot of the people that come through. Meaning that at Burning Man or any burn that exists, people have to make shit happen because they create everything, the content, the programming, and so this is really kind of the cultures that we come from. And so it's very natural when you have like a group of burners like to self-organize around planning events and so on. And then we've been implementing these stewardship cycles. So every 3 months, we have a group of 3-4 people who are stewards, which now we are framing more as an educational program. And it's really for people that are potentially interested in building communities, that want to maybe create their own data, or that maybe want to integrate better with the OASA model and so on. And so through the stewardship program, people are like fully encouraged to completely basically manage a place and run the place. And this is like the ultimate like duocracy.
Nice.
And so we generally have this team of like 3-4 stewards. Now we have the core team of like 5 people. And so basically there's like kind of all the different skill sets and so on that you could need to do most things. And so and events like everything else is generally co-created. Sometimes you have an external party that like helps to streamline some of the thing, and TDF being more the host, and then some of the events have been more hosted by TDF related people. But yeah, generally that's kind of how it works. Like for example, now we have a Harmonia in March, which is a music festival put together by James, who is one of our members, and yeah, he's getting more and more involved in TDF, and so it's just like this collaboration and co-creation collective putting together music and it's by default it's a playground to make this happen, and we have all of the equipment to make these kind of things happen, and that's kind of the motto of TDF, is like providing you with all the tools to be productive and creative while being in nature and doing the right thing for the land. When you have access to everything that you need to put together a festival, then it also becomes much easier to just create a festival and to have the right people show up to do it.
Yeah, totally. Look, you've mentioned it being a village. Then I'm assuming there will be more buildings being built or planned. What's your vision overall? How big of the village that you're looking at? And then what's going to be the relationship with the municipalities along these lines?
So basically on the 25 hectares of land, we have like 3 separate housing projects. There's a current space, which is the co-living, which is more designed for short to medium term stays. That's like going to be where all the events are held, and it's where the members who buys the token can come and spend a few weeks, a few months. But then on top of that, we're building a tiny home neighborhood. So with 10 tiny homes, they're going to be somewhere between 25 and 50 square meters each. And this is more geared for like young families. And we actually have a very nice group of families that are already interested. We're looking for a couple more families to close the group. But that's going to start very soon, and right now we're like working with the municipality to submit the master plan for the whole 25 hectares.
Nice.
And so that basically includes this tiny home neighborhood. And on top of that, in the 25 hectares, we have over 4,000 square meters of urban land, which means that we can just build houses. So basically, we have a whole street that we can build, and the goal would be to build somewhere between 10 and 20 houses. And those are going to be like full-size homes, like around 100 square meters. And this is going to be also targeting a bit more intergenerational, so that yes, we kind of have all different ranges and scopes and sizes, and to have like really a diversity of residents, a diversity of people that come through the project, and having a mix of both people being here very long term and people coming through and being more short term, which we hope will create more, like, I guess, less stuckness of energy, which sometimes can happen in these villages.
Understandable, yes. There's this idea within the network state movement that we gotta be first putting together the digital community, then buying physical land, and then negotiating with the government on some kind of independence. Do you have that in mind at all? How much do you know about the example of Tamera? Do you wanna go that direction at all? What's your perspective?
Are you saying that Tamera wants to ask for diplomatic recognition?
No, but they have a lot of self-sufficiency and respect from the government in terms of what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, self-sufficiency is definitely part of the package. Like,
Nice.
I mean, the whole point is decentralize living, right? Decentralize the grid, energy, food production, all these kind of things. So ultimately, TDF is a climate resilient neighborhood or village, whatever you want to call it. So that, by definition, creates more self-sufficiency. But also, we're not really like the communities from the 70s that were like Back to the Land movement, really wanting to be completely out of the system. Like, we want to be included in a global movement, but it's a new global movement that seeks to regenerate the earth, that seeks to be digitally integrated, but like nature enhancing. Getting diplomatic recognition, I think, is an interesting idea, and maybe some network states will achieve it someday. But I think it's just gonna be very, I think it's just gonna look very different. I think it's very hard to tell where technology is going right now. I think there's a lot of like big egos in the space, and I mean, ultimately, like, we want to create a model for like a thriving village, and it's not like we're gonna be creating an OASA country or anything like that, and it's not really our interest. Like, we want to enforce certain regenerative principles on the land. This is the overarching mission of the network, and the goal of OASA is to build 10 or 12 villages around the world that become these kind of prototypes for creating regenerative spaces. And I mean, maybe someday it would like influence like national policies or these kind of things. But yeah, it's not really something that we're really that interested in or like really considering, because if that became the case someday that network states were gaining diplomatic recognition and that we could let go of our physical passports and just use our crypto passports to travel around, then sure. But yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon, and I think the control that nation states impose on the world, that's going to be a bit hard to get rid of, because that's based on big militaries and all of that. And until we reach like a singularity that puts nations a bit out of the spotlight, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does happen, then OASA can provide like a template for a network, a state, or whatever you want to call it, that is an ecological state, and that drives regeneration forward while creating thriving opportunities for humans.